Brazil's central bank on the verge of raising its inflation target as it spirals into the inflationary abyss. This article is a couple weeks old. We covered this before. Brazil and Argentina. Argentina is experiencing 99% inflation this past year, I believe it was. We covered this a little bit over the last week or so, and we covered this a couple weeks ago as well. And they're trying to get together possibly to create a currency together. IMF comes saying, "Oh, it's a terrible idea," this and that. And then you have people that are generally a lot smarter than the IMF, people like that, Brian Armstrong, Elon Musk, stuff like that, saying you should probably use Bitcoin. And a lot of people in the Bitcoin world, a lot of Bitcoiners are saying you should probably use Bitcoin. And we'll see. We will see what happens here. We do know that central banks are always going to do the wrong thing. Unless you talk to like Kristalina Georgieva, managing director of the IMF. I just read an article yesterday of her talking about how the IMF is, the central banks are just the amazing resource and technology, and they're going to get CBDCs right. We just got to be prudent with it. And they're going to build that slavery coin so that way they can entrap you and keep you a serf in their system. When we have Bitcoin, we literally have freedom at our disposal. And we are so early. We're only 1% basically of the world, 1% adoption rate. And this is going to happen here in America. The biggest reason I want to make this is because this is going to happen here in America. And this means you are going to have big trouble when it comes to paying things in the future. We've showed this many times, the eggs, Bitcoin and eggs, and what happens. And you are going to pay more and more and more if you hold dollars. Their inflation targets are going to go up. U.S. will probably say it's 3 or 4% now. And look, we hit it. We hit our target. And wow, we are so smart. We just, we need to run a little bit hotter. And, it is what it is. So this is going to happen here. And they even tweeted here, Zero Hedge. At some point, the Fed will concede it has no control over supply. It keeps printing like mad, and it has to, or else the whole system implodes. So of course they have no control over supply, and that's when we'll start getting leaks of raising the inflation target. So again, and this is back in June of last year. So we've talked about this for a long time. Others have been talking about this. This is going to be something the Fed does. They will increase their inflation target because they're not going to be able to put the genie back in the bottle. They're going to have to raise the target, and they're going to have to let inflation run hotter for longer, and choke the middle class. And so you have to be prepared. This is why I just tweeted out in the last day or so, you probably might want to get some food storage, clean water, water filters, things like that. Go to My Patriot Supply, go there and get prepped. They have both those things, and they have many other preparedness things. Because like I said many times before, life is about preparing. You're never done. It's always a new finish line. It's always the next thing. So we have to be prepared for ourselves, for our family, and quite honestly, for when times do get bad, that you can then go help other people. You don't need to be the one hoarding and running to the store and trampling over people and causing more chaos. That's probably one of the biggest things, being a good, prepared, and responsible citizen. I don't know how else to say it. So this is absolutely going to come in the future here. So be prepared. We have to understand that inflation is going to be here causing prices to rise. So get things now, stock up. If you didn't over the last couple of years when things were even cheaper, do it now because it's going to get more expensive in the future. Non-perishable stuff, 25-year shelf life on food storage. So get prepared and get out of the currency, your local currency. If what you can manage to do. And again, this is not financial advice, it's freedom advice. But if you can manage to dollar cost average into Bitcoin and get out of that deflation or get out of that inflationary worthless paper and get into the hardest asset ever known and get a couple percent into gold and silver, but get majority of it. I'm doing it, getting into Bitcoin, getting into the asset of the future, and the asset that's disintermediating and demonetizing all the grift and the graft in the world. We've shared this so many times what it's doing. So anyway, this is all I wanted to share here on this one, is that this is coming here and what it means for you and how you can benefit, right? So we just went over those 3 points. And just to recap, Argentina is raising, or Brazil is raising their inflation target. It's going to happen here in America. They're going to say 3 or 4%, meaning higher costs for you. So you're going to be paying, instead of, again, 70 cents for eggs, you're going to be paying $3, $7, $10 a carton over the next 10 years or more. And then what can you do about it? Get into hard assets. Get into a little bit of gold and silver. Majority of my savings go into Bitcoin, dollar cost average, and just building that stack. Most people aren't even going to have 50,000 Satoshis to their name, 100,000 Satoshis in 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Right now, I think 50,000 Satoshis is like $12. So we are so early still. please go secure your future, your generational wealth, and the new monetary system. And not only that, you are actually forcing change. You're now forcing change, and you're peacefully opting out of the system that's sinking slowly and slipping under the waves. You are now saying, I'm out of this. I'm voting with my money, voting with my feet, and I'm out of here. I'm going to the new world. I'm going to explore the new world. It's like going to America again. It's like coming to America in the 14, 15, 1600s, and you're going to explore the new world, and you're building on the network and hardening the network that is going to be the future and owning a piece of that. So I appreciate you tuning in. Your time and energy is the most important asset we have. Time is Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is time. The two finite assets we have. I still have not had anyone give me another finite asset. So the only trade I know to make is with my finite time is with a finite asset. That's Bitcoin. That's it. That's a smart trade. Why would you trade your finite time for infinite pieces of paper? Again, it's just like blades of grass or grains of sand. So make the fair trade for yourself, please. It's not financial advice. It's freedom advice. Trust but verify. Do your homework and watch the channel here and all the hundreds and thousands of videos we've done and blogs over time and all the content we put out over time on our different channels. So please go watch that. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I appreciate it. And I would really be honored, again, if you would share this out, because the algorithm does not like Freedom Talk. Freedom Talk is not popular with the algorithm, as they say. So please share this out. It's the only way we can build community together and build a community of like-minded people where we can really grow and prosper together, because a great crisis coming forward is great opportunity. As Bob Proctor always said, one of my favorite personal mentors. So please do that. And again, subscribe. Many of you that watch are not subscribed either, so please do that so we can hopefully override the algorithm at some point and get truth and reality out there. Because again, if truth and reality are out there, questioning everything with boldness and being responsible, accountable citizens, it makes all of life, selfishly, I want an easier life. I want my life to be easier for my children, my grandchildren, and not have all these problems, all these society having all this cultural rot, mental health issues, and this violence, civil unrest. I don't want that. I don't want my children, my posterity to be involved in that. I don't want you and your families involved with that. It doesn't have to be. We know with economic growth and sound money, we know those things melt away. We know standard of living goes up, price of living comes down, and we start to have the higher the economic growth in a country, the less and less. El Salvador is a great example of this. Cleaning up what they're doing, economic growth is through the roof because of the Bitcoin adoption. People are flooding there. It's getting cleaned up. Gangs are going away. Violence is way down because you have economic growth. So it brings people out of poverty. So please do your future a favor and start making that trade for yourself, that finite trade for finite time for a finite asset. I appreciate you. I look forward to seeing you on the next one.